success, that the threat was stopped before he ever reached the door. Was the fundamental problem that the outer perimeter was too close to the protectees, or that an armed person was able to reach even the edge of it without being detected?
No, I'll say it again. I think people don't understand the distance. We have to start and end our perimeter somewhere. If it were up to me, I'd love to end it at the bridge, but that's going to inconvenience a lot of people. So we have to take into account what the environment is. We do blast analysis. I won't get into that, but we look at the site in very many different ways. We're not going to advertise how we do it, but when you talk about that one site, it's almost two sites. So how we set up that perimeter and where we ended it is where we felt comfortable with our special teams as to where we needed to put it. Again, I'll repeat myself, we're talking almost 120 yards from magnetometers to podium. That's over a football field. If you look at some of the other government buildings around town, I won't name them, some of their magnetometers are actually inside the building. We don't do that. We have standoff distance. And that's where our team, which we have on the ground, felt comfortable doing it, and that's where it happened. We do expect things to happen at the magnetometers, unfortunately, but that's why they are there. And that's where it happened, and that's where it ended. So it did work. The system worked. We can't shut down an entire community when we have an event. It's our job to understand that site and to mitigate the threat, and to also allow the best we can business to also run.
And as a very last question, can you speak to the fencing around the White House and potential plans to make that permanent, what benefit that would have for the Secret Service, and who would determine whether to keep the doors open or closed, so to speak?
We're still in talks about it. If it were up to me, I would put 30-foot fences up everywhere. So, but yeah, I like fences.
We've got about 3 more minutes, guys. Sorry.
Hi, guys. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. It's fascinating to listen to. Owen Jensen with EWTN Global Catholic Network. I realize you can't reveal operational details, but how concerned are you about drones being used to attack protectees of yours?
Very. So look, just in UAS in general, no one in federal government or law enforcement is doing more to proactively get after the drone threat than the Secret Service. Nobody in government. Look, the threat's real. We look at Ukraine, we look at just at basic intelligence. It's a matter of time before it comes to the United States. It's happening on the border. We know that. So it's absolutely top priority, top of mind, and it comes down to what we're doing to detect and mitigate. Detection is the key. I can tell you that Secret Service is leading the way in technology that has been recently deployed, and no other government agency has deployed it in the United States of America. Obviously, there's a lot of hoops to jump through, FAA involvement, there's PL 124 and in a process to get equipment deployed. But in terms of detection capability and mitigation capabilities, we're leading the way. We're not there yet, but we are leading the way.
Just to follow up, I, as others here do, we work at the White House on the North Lawn in those tents there. I'm not going to lie, sometimes you think, is one of these things coming in at any moment? And how safe is the White House from a drone attack?
I'll tell you, right now, it's very safe from attack. The technology we're deploying, and not just the White House, at all protected sites is, it's cutting edge right now for us in all of government. So it's coming. Detection is the key, but you've got to be able to mitigate. And the mitigation technology is what the overall defense industry is really working hard to keep up with new threats. The threat continues to get tougher and tougher. You know, you're talking fiber optic controlled drones now, dark drones. So it's a constant chase to keep up with it, but we're doing a tremendous job to stay ahead of the threat, especially at the White House.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you, we're also moving these assets around with the president, some of which first time used on American soil ever. So we will use anything and everything, and that's what I keep telling my agents and officers. Like, there's nothing that we aren't willing to do. We want them to feel empowered when we do these advances, to use what we have at our disposal. So.
following up on the drone issue, one of the issues that happened with Crooks is one of those detective systems went down. There was an officer who had to call the help service of the company. Is there efforts to make sure that when there are those systems, there are backup systems, but also that your officers are trained to the point where those calls aren't even required to do system resets, but that you're working with assets that they know backwards and forwards?
Yeah, so directors made Airspace Security Division a priority. So we are light years ahead of where we were 2 years ago in terms of detection-only equipment, all the issues that you've identified. We're putting significant dollars behind robust, they're full teams that go out now. The training, I was at our training center yesterday, training every day, very good technology going everywhere he goes. That particular issue, I'm confident it's not going to happen again with this director.
Why was it an issue before?
Why was it an issue? I don't think, there's a variety of reasons, and some of it was just deploying the right resources at the right levels, right? At that time, a former president wasn't getting the resources that they potentially should have been getting. I just own it for the Secret Service. That's not happening anymore.
Well, and I could also tell you, having been there and knowing and hearing it firsthand, communication, it's critical. We've certainly improved that. That is critical to me, is something that I felt and knew firsthand, that we need to be better and do better. Not just us, but with our partners communicating with us. So that anytime you see we have a major site, we always have a unified command post. We have all our partners are sitting together, communicating. We're all talking. We're all in the same room, ensuring that what one person hears, everybody hears.
Director, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Anthony, may I ask for one more thing, please? I'm sorry to do this, but for the benefit of the camera, is it possible to have you tell us about who the likely perpetrators are now, based on this research that you've done, the mental health piece and the fact that they're showing signs, just so we can get that out to our audiences?
Sure, absolutely. Our work over the last 25 years in the National Threat Assessment Center of researching attacks targeting government officials, facilities, schools, workplaces, basically all the places that we would be concerned about as an agency, has shown that there is no one specific profile, but we do see common themes in the backgrounds of those attackers. That includes contextual things that are stressors, history of possible mental health issues, maybe paranoia, delusions, hallucination, depression, suicidality, behavior changes, as well as common motives, meaning that by far in all of our research, we see that the most common motive why someone carries out an attack is typically related to a grievance, and that grievance could be focused on a person or an idea or an ideology that becomes a fixation and negatively impacts every aspect of their life, to the point where they want to take revenge, whether they feel they're being persecuted or they feel that they've been wronged, and that is engaging in violence is the way that they use to solve their issues.
And how are you learning about these threats that is different than what you learned before? No longer their handwritten note, but different ways.
I can tell you that when I first started with the agency, I won't say how long ago that was, but at one point we created an internet threat desk, and it probably had like 7 people on it. But now with the advent of technology, we do that. For us as an agency, our model is how do we identify individuals so that we can assess and appropriately intervene. And the way that we identify them is typically they either self-identify, they bring themselves to attention, we notice it online, or they show up at the White House, we call them gate callers, and they self-identify. But the majority of the information that comes to us is through federal, state, local law enforcement, other government agencies, the VA, as well as a bulk of the internet concerning behavior and threats that we get comes from concerned citizens.
They see it before others do.
Yes, they often see that online, whether it's a comment on an article, a social media post. They'll either notify local police, they'll notify the FBI, or in some cases notify us directly.
And how do you decide which online threats are over the top and which ones are just simply free speech?
You've got to go.
Investigate them all.
Yeah.
They all get investigated. If I could just take a moment just to thank everybody here. This is a rare opportunity for us. As I explained earlier, I'm a pretty private person and quiet, but to be in a room of true professionals, it's great to get our story out there, and for you to report that. I think it's great. It's a good partnership. Just ask for to be fair, because we often don't toot our own horn. Probably should sometimes, but I appreciate everybody giving their time to us today.
Thank you.
It's really great. Thank you.
Say stranger.
Thank you. Yeah.
Don't be a stranger.
Yeah.
I was going to say thank you very much. Good to see you, sir.